Some people have a strange problem. They dream big. They want everything, the success, the freedom, the money. But when it's time to get up, their blanket feels like gravity increased by 900%. Meet Rafa, ambitious, creative, full of dreams, but also the Olympic gold medalist in procrastination.
One morning, while Rafa was trying to convince himself that 5 more minutes is a lifestyle, a monk walked in. The monk smiles.
Ah, I see. A mind that wants to climb mountains, but refuses to leave the bed.
Rafa sits up, embarrassed.
I swear I'm just charging up on my potential.
Rafa and the monk sit beneath a tall banyan tree outside the small hut. The noonlight filters softly through the leaves, and birds hop playfully around them. Rafa sits cross-legged, trying his best to look attentive, though his eyes keep drifting toward the distant village, where he could be doing something productive, if only the motivation ever arrived. The monk gently taps the ground with his broom and says,
"Let me tell you a secret. Lazy people are not weak. They simply haven't learned how to trick their minds yet."
Rafa squints at him, confused.
My mind needs tricking?
The monk chuckles, stroking his beard.
Oh, absolutely. Your mind is like a stubborn donkey, very powerful, very capable, but it refuses to move unless the path is tiny, simple, and easy.
Rafa imagines himself pulling a donkey that refuses to budge and sighs. The monk pats his shoulder.
Give your mind smaller steps, and it will surprise you with how far it goes.
Lesson 1. Make your dreams smaller. Rafa sits with his shoulders dropped, staring at the ground as if all the dreams he ever had were too heavy to hold. The monk notices this and draws a small circle in the dirt with a stick.
Ambition is fire, Rafa. A beautiful fire. But if you try to carry the entire flame in your hands, you burn yourself.
He picks up a tiny glowing ember from a campfire nearby.
Take a tiny spark instead. A spark you can hold, move with, and grow later.
Rafa watches, intrigued. Suddenly, in his imagination, he sees himself sitting before a mountain of 50 giant books stacked taller than he is. His face pales. Then, the image shrinks. The mountain collapses into a single page floating gently in front of him. Next, he imagines creating a massive futuristic company with hundreds of employees, screens, technologies, and chaos. He feels overwhelmed until the scene shrinks into him completing just one simple 5-minute task, like writing one sentence. The monk places a reassuring hand on Rafa's shoulder.
The first rule for lazy but ambitious people is simple. Make your tasks laughably small.
1 push-up, 1 minute of writing, 1 page of reading. Your brain won't resist something tiny, and once you begin, momentum quietly takes over. Rafa looks at his hands, suddenly hopeful, as if the fire of ambition has finally become something he can touch without fear.
I'm doing 1 push-up. Now I'm writing for 1 minute. Then I'll read just 1 page.
Lesson 2. Pair effort with pleasure.
Rafa sits at a tiny wooden desk, shoulders relaxed for the first time in the entire story. A small teacup steams beside him, filling the air with the soft scent of jasmine. A little wind chime tinkles in the background, and a quiet lo-fi melody hums from a tiny handmade radio. He writes a single sentence, then sips his tea with dramatic satisfaction.
The monk watches from the doorway, smiling like someone who knows exactly what he's doing.
You won't move unless your brain says, "Ah, this feels nice." So pair every effort with something small but enjoyable.
Rafa flips a page with more enthusiasm than he expected. He pauses to nibble a biscuit, then continues reading, almost surprised that productivity suddenly feels warm and cozy instead of heavy and painful.
Suddenly, tasks stop feeling like punishment. They become tiny rituals, little pockets of comfort that gently pull you forward.
Rafa settles deeper into the moment, like a cat finding the perfect sunspot, proving the monk's lesson true.
Lesson 3. Daily wins, not daily wars.
Rafa kneels beside a simple clay jar labeled wins. Each day, he drops in a tiny smooth stone, one for writing a minute, one for reading a page, one for simply starting.
You don't need a warrior spirit, Rafa. You just need daily wins. Small actions, done every day, build incredible lives.
As the jar slowly fills, Rafa notices something surprising. He isn't becoming a different person, he's just learning to use his laziness wisely. And as Rafa kept stacking tiny wins, something strange began to happen. He didn't become less lazy, he simply became smarter about his laziness. Rafa stands a little taller than before. His once messy workspace is now tidy, sunlight pouring gently into the room. The air feels lighter, as if his life has shifted by a few degrees towards something brighter.
Greatness does not require giant leaps, just 1,000 tiny steps, taken consistently.
In a few weeks, Rafa wasn't dragging himself through life. He was gliding. A few days later, one evening, Rafa and the monk sit beneath the same banyan tree where their lessons began. The sky glows with warm, twilight oranges and purples. A teapot and 2 small cups rest between them. Rafa savors the calm moment, realizing how far he has come, not through force, but through tiny, gentle rituals.
If you are lazy but ambitious, you are not doomed. You just need systems that respect your nature.
Rafa smiles, a quiet confidence blooming.
So, I can achieve my dreams?
The monk nods, sipping his tea.
Absolutely. One tiny step at a time.
So if your dreams are big, but your energy is small, remember this story. Lazy ambition is not a curse. It's untapped power. Start tiny. Start now. And watch what you become. If you enjoyed watching Rafa grow in his journey, tap like and subscribe. There are many more moments coming, and I'd love for you to be part of them.